Hello guys, in this video I will show you how to install MESS and work with interface, sound options, video options, key binding options, and most importantly, of course, working with different systems and how to set up a different system. What is the difference between the system that use BIOS and the systems that is already built in MESS source code. Okay, let's don't waste any time and start working on our settings of MESS. I want to assure you that this video will be very long, and if you find some of the things that you already know, please skip forward. I will make sure to make annotations and make like a little bit sections where you can click and see stuff that you are actually interesting. So the first thing that you need to go is go to Google. Okay, I hate these things here. Okay, next things is like you like to type MESSGUI. I'm not sure if it's pronounced right because my English is not native language, so sorry if you don't understand all of my words, because I know I'm a very bad English speaker, but I didn't practice English very often, so please excuse me about that. But I hope you will understand what I want to explain in this MESS tutorial. So first, a little bit history. MESS is Emulator Super System user interface. This is actually based on MAME. Actually is using the same source code and the same functionality, and everything is basically the same like in MAME, which stands for multi-arcade emulator system. Anyway, let's go to download page, which is here in this link. This is useful links if you want to learn more about MESS and how it works, but I will try to explain the most important thing in this video. So if you want to skip basic installation part, please click one of the annotations that will be added after I finish the video. Okay, so let's go start with downloading the MESS. Okay, I will download the latest version of MESS, which is this one, 0.163. Okay, I click here, and this is a page that show the changes from the last version. I suggest you to kind of get familiar with MESS and read some things that you need to know and some basic readme files, but I'll explain in this video, so you don't need to worry much about that. Okay, here is the 4 basic version of a MESS multi-emulator super system. The first 2 version is shown here. We will skip it because these 2 versions are without user interface, and without user interface we don't want to use this MESS, because this MESS is actually a full MESS, so we don't use this. So we skip forward to MESS user interface. This UI means user interface, which is very handy and is very familiar to you, and is actually look like a basic application for Windows or Macintosh. Okay, so I will download 64-bit version because my Windows is Windows 7 64-bit, but feel free to use 32-bit version if your Windows is 32-bit version, of course. I will use 64-bit version because it's more badass. Okay, I will download it to my desktop because for purpose of this video I want to got a quick and easy access to my downloaded files, because I will need to download a couple of other files later in this tutorial. Okay, after we finish downloading, which is very small, I will close this one here, and I will go to my desktop. So my desktop now have this archive file. It's a RAR file. It's very common Windows archive file. I will not get into detail how to actually work with Windows archive files, because if you're a gamer like me, you will actually know how to work with zip and RAR files. But if you don't know how to work, just go to Google and type WinRAR and download WinRAR, and you can extract with WinRAR everything that comes in RAR file archive. Okay, I will move that here. So click right mouse button and select extract to. Don't select extract here, because you will clog up your desktop with lots of files that will be hard to clean. So always extract to some subfolder. Okay, it's very easy. Just click here and it's okay. I will now delete this file because I didn't need it anymore. Delete. So my file is already here. So I will open it, but I will rename it just to be for convenience. We'll type MESSGUI, and we'll leave it that way for now, just to be a bit more easy and comfortable to see. Okay, I will open with enter or with right mouse button and open. Okay, that's it. So basically our MAME is just one single file now, but don't worry, because you will need to create a few structure tree, because without a folder structure we will not be able to use every system that MESS provided. So let's start with open the emulator itself. Okay, it's now run. It's very familiar to you if you use MAME. If not, it's just super easy to understand, and I will explain the basic interface options and what is this window here. First, I will resize this window because it's ridiculously large and we don't need that. Okay, so this is two windows here. You see these two main windows here. This is the main windows of the program of MESS. This window here shows all available and supported or not yet supported versions of the machines that MESS supports. For example, Sega, Genesis, Nintendo Entertainment System, Sega Master System, Apple computers, Commodore computers, and other stuff. I will explain this a little bit later in this video. So let's first start how to run a game. Let's say I want to play a game for Sega Genesis. Okay, I will, because it's a lot of different systems here, it will be very hard for me to find Genesis system here. So I will point my mouse cursor here, and this is the actually search bar, which will search the system here. Very simple. So I will search for Genesis or Genesis. I don't know how to pronounce exactly. Genesis. Okay, it's already searched and found. So this is the Genesis system. But now I can't run anything, because if I run it, will show me just these windows and will give me this kind of ridiculously looking menu, which I personally don't like. You can play the games from here, but it's not very comfortable and it's not good. So I will exit for now. Okay, so to play a bit easier and more comfortable, it's very easy. After you select your system here with left mouse button, go to media view. In media view you have this is very important. You have this media cartridge slot. So this is a media browse button. So after you click it, you can click mount. Okay. And currently I am put into my MESSGUI folder, but my ROMs is not located here, so I will locate them in my hard drive here. Games, emulators, MESS. This is my other version of MESS. ROMs and Sega, and here I have like 20 games for Sega. Let's say I want to play one of the games. Let's say Golden Axe 2, because it has a very good and memorable first level music, because I love it. Okay, and after we load this cartridge here, this means for example, imagine that you have your Sega in front of you and you just put the cartridge inside. This is the same thing, like you just put the cartridge inside the Sega but you didn't push the power button yet. So in Picker you can actually select the game from here. I will explain a bit later how to load multiple games here, but this will be a little bit later in our tutorial. So our game is actually now in the cartridge slot. So the only things that left to do here is just press double press left mouse button, and the game will just run fine. Okay. Okay, the game run fine, and we actually can go into game just like that. But this is the simple part. Okay, we can now move to a little bit more complex, but don't worry, it's very simple part. For example, let's say that I want to play a game for Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Okay, I will type Nintendo in my search bar like before, and I see that Super Nintendo Entertainment System have a little red sign in the icon before the name. This means that this game require BIOS files. Okay, and BIOS files for particularly this system is not included in MESS source code, so you need to download it separately and include it in the folder called ROMs. How to do that? It's very easy. First of all, you may close or minimize your MESS. It's not a big difference. So the second things I do is I go to here and create a new folder, and I name it ROMs. Make sure, this is very important here, make sure that your file is named folder is named ROMs, because MESS will search for BIOS files exactly in this folder. You don't have problems to leave your cartridges or your ROMs files in different folder structures, but for BIOS files it's super important to be in this folder here called ROMs. I'm not sure if MAME it's case sensitive, but just in case, rename your folder to be exactly like mine here, ROMs. Okay, but we don't have any BIOS files. BIOS files is kind of illegal, and I can't show you. I can't provide links, but I will actually go to internet, and I have one internet site that you can, it's actually supported by MESS. I will go to mess.oldoz.net. okay, and we hear that this BIOS files is for version of MESS 152. Okay, so but how we will find our Super Nintendo Entertainment System ROMs? It have two ways. You can Control F here and type Nintendo, exactly like in our MESS Nintendo. Okay, we have one Nintendo 64 and Nintendo Entertainment System SNES. So this is what we need. But just to be sure that is the right cartridge, the right BIOS, you need to go to MESS and click on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is very important and a little bit confusing, but I will try to explain as best as possible. So resize the window a little bit and just explore this kind of rows here. So this is the source, ignore this, but directory, this means that this particular system, Super Nintendo Entertainment System in this case, will search its BIOS files in this particular zip name, snes.zip. It's called directory here, but don't worry, it will be perfectly fine if you leave it in zip file. So when you click right mouse button click here and click audit, this means that we'll check for our BIOS files. And so we see ROM check not found. That is not very good because you will not be able to play the game. Okay, so we need to download this SNES zip file. Okay, so I will download it now. Sorry for my bad English again. Save. And we now have our BIOS files for Super Nintendo Entertainment System. The next thing that you do, you back to your your MESS structure and folder that we previously create a ROM folder. So we open our ROM folder like that, drag and drop this file here. Okay, drag and drop this file here in this folder. Do not rename it, do not extract this file, do not extract, leave it like it's in zip ROMs. Make sure to be in the folder ROMs. This is the most important and very important thing. You need to do this. So we back to MAME now, and again click right mouse button for your desired system. Okay, and click properties and go to audit. And now you see ROM check passed, which means it's passed and the check of the BIOS is secure. So now you can play the games. Click OK and you see that this red sign is already gone, which means that our system is perfectly fine to play games. So let's test our new Super Nintendo Entertainment System BIOS files and if this installed correctly. Okay, again go to media view like we did with the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis. Just go to media view, click mount, click browse button, go to your SNES ROMs, and let's say I want to load this game. Open, back to picker, and I will now double click on this file here, file name. Okay, ignore these messages, it's not important, it's working perfectly fine. Okay, so our game is now running completely fine after we successfully installed our BIOS. Sorry about that. Okay, so our game runs perfectly fine now, and this is basically about the about installing BIOS. It's very simple. You just need to know what system you want to play and just search for the particular BIOS set. Okay, let's say we want to play Master System game, Master System. So you see the Master System, it's actually not imported it in MESS source code, so you need to download it separately. It's the same exact process. You see the exact name of the zip. This will be the name of your zip file here. I will zoom it here now for you. Sorry, yes. Okay, I did something here. I'm sorry, I pressed some button that I didn't use to. Alright, I just messed up things a little bit. Okay, I will restart it. Sorry about this, I just misclick some buttons. So let's say we want to play Master System 2, Master System. So you see this here. But what the hell? Why I can't zoom this? This is ridiculous. It's used to work before. Okay, however, this is the file that you need to search. So go to the internet site again, the one with BIOS files, Control and F, and search for SMS, and need to find the exact same zip. Here is the SMS zip file. So you download it again to your desktop or whatever you like. Open your ROM folder, drag and drop here, and basically this is it. Now you return, right mouse button, audit, and you can see that now it's passed, and so your master system is ready to play. Let me resize this again. It goes ridiculously large. Media view, BIOS. I'm not sure that I have any master system ROMs now, but I'll check. Yeah, I have a couple of ROMs. Okay, let's test it. Yeah, and work. It's working. Okay. Yeah. Basically, this is it. The other thing that you may need to do is if you have a friends, or if you find a ROM BIOS pack, you can extract all the BIOS ROMs in your folders ROMs, and then press F5 like this, and your BIOS, your MESS will automatically audit all the systems and will search for all ROMs in BIOS ROMs. Got that? If you have a pack, extract it in the ROMs folder and then press F5, and your MESS will do the work for you and will search for any BIOS that is currently in this folder. Okay, so let's say that you want to have you want to play multiple games and don't want to browse them anytime here, right? Okay, it's very easy. Let's go to Sega again, Genesis, and select the system with left mouse button, then click right mouse button and go to Properties and go to Software. And software means that in this window here you can browse your folder from your computer, and you can show to this system where is location of your all ROMs. So I will click Browse, Storage, Games, Emulators, MESS, ROMs, Sega. Okay, I will click now OK, and my games will appear. All of the games will appear here. Don't worry if your games in zip file. MESS is actually very intelligent and will read any zip files. So my games is already here, and I'm easily can select any game that I want. Let's say I want to play Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Okay, easy like that. Just pick the game and play it. Very convenient, very easy, very slick. Sorry about that. Michael Jackson is just badass. I love this guy. It's a great game with great music and super cool atmosphere. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about customization and what is all these options here. So this button here is about showing filter about different systems. This means that all systems will be shown. Let's clear the search bar. This means that all systems will be shown here. You see, there are plenty of systems and can clock your searching experience. So go to only available ones, and you see this is the only available ones by default when you install MESS. You see some of them didn't work. This is fine because they're still in process of working. But let me explain something here that is very important, and I think it's important to say in this video. For example, that you want to play a Commodore 64 games, Commodore, and you see the Commodore here. And you again, we do the same thing. We check the ROM folder and BIOS zip. BIOS zip must call C64. So don't try to do that because will not work. I try everything. I try a different BIOS files, and Commodore 64 didn't work. It's the same with Amiga and few other systems. So if you want to play a few old computer system in MESS, will probably not working. I try everything and didn't manage to work, but I will continue to try in future. For now, it didn't work, and don't waste your time in trying, because MESS it changed its structure, and it didn't support all BIOS files anymore, and that is very, very sad, because I want to have one emulator system that support most of the games and available system that I love. Anyway, let's talk about customization, resolution, sounds, and key bindings. So first you need to go to default system options. This means that you will set the options for all available system that you have, for all of them, not just the one, for example Genesis or Super Nintendo, but for all of them. So this window here, I will try to explain what everything does. Start out, maximize, and turn in Windows is self-explanatory, so I don't need to explain anything here. And force aspect ratio, it's very helpful to be that way. I usually play without these two things here because they add a blurry effect, and I don't like blurry effect in old school games, because it's very different experience from what I used to. So I play them differently. I will explain how. So on advanced options, you have different options that I will suggest you not to mess around with, especially with this HLSL, which is some kind of skylines that look great, but for some reason it didn't work with MESS, or at least didn't work for me. I don't know why, but it didn't work for me. This is frame skipping. Don't mess with this. Emulation speed, don't mess with it. Actually, don't mess with any of these particular options here unless you know exactly what you're doing, and if you have problems with the games. What I do here is I love to select overlay effect. Overlay effect is very great for emulating old CRT systems and similar stuff. Okay, the screen, it's the screen that you want to project your MESS. It's very important and very useful options, because if you have multiple screens, and more especially CRT screen, you can actually point which screen you want to use for MESS. For example, you can keep your Windows screen clean, and you can put, for example, your MESS on display 2, which is your CRT old school display, which is very hard to set up, because most modern video cards and hardware video card system like NVIDIA and ATI, they didn't support old CRT monitors, which is very bad in my opinion, and I really hate that. So this is a big loss for gaming, and especially for old school gaming, because I like to play old school games on CRT monitors, because they look way more better, way more realistic, and they look exactly how it's supposed to look. It's not blurry, and it's look very good and very nice. So don't mess with this unless you have multiple monitors that you want to use. Okay. The sound mode, I will suggest you to switch to 44,100 Hertz, because I think it's more compatible for recording games. but I'm not actually 100% sure, but just in case, just move it to 44 with 100 Hertz. Okay, controllers, you might want to enable mouse input, for example in games like Terminator for Sega and Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Terminator 2 The Judgment Day. You can use your mouse to shoot enemies and emulate gun. It's very nice, so you may want to enable this here. So basically this is it. Vectors means for vectors games I didn't really use this. Miscellaneous, skip system info, just to skip and save time. Enable cheats, I don't know what this means, but I didn't enable because I don't play with cheats and I don't care about it. The other things, show menu, I will disable that because I hate this menu that is show every time when you start the game. Okay, debug, don't mess with this, and this is actually how you want to emulate a different different game controls with your hardware controllers. For example, keyboard is keyboard. Sticks, you can choose a joypad if you have a pedal device. You can choose a pedal if you have a wheel with pedals. Okay, and mouse device, you want to emulate it with mouse device, so apply OK. So basically this is all the options. But let's say that I want to play a games with skylines. So now when I start the game, let's start some game. It's a great game.
Excellent.
Yes, it's excellent. You see that the game now run in very blurry state. Okay, we don't like this, we don't want this. Why it's running in this state? Because Genesis has its own properties and own system now, but we need to change that. So go to display and get rid of these two things here on display, and so now it's perfectly fine to play without this blurry effect. But you see that the game will now look too blocky and not very pleasant. Yep. Okay, we don't want that too. So I will do one more thing here. Go to miscellaneous and disable show menu, because it shows the menu that I don't like. So check again. Yep.
Excellent.
Yes, it's worked fine. Okay. Okay. But what I don't like is because it's too blocky and not very good looking on LCD monitor. So what you can do about that? Actually, you can do a lot of things, but my favorite thing is adding a skylines effect, because I always play my games with skyline effects or with CRT monitors. Okay, so first things to do is go to your MESS installation folder where is your BIOS files is located and other files. Right click and create new folder and name this folder artwork. Oops, just like that, artwork. Okay, and I prepare a very small zip file for you, and I put this link here so I can easily copy and paste it in my browser. Okay, I will include this this link in the file description on this video. So download this artwork. Is just 2 kilobytes, is very small. Download it to your desktop or whatever it's comfortable for you. Nice. And now go to open your artwork folder like this, and now open and now extract your zip in this artwork folder like that. Open again and extract these files here, just like that. Okay, very easy. So you need to have these files here. This is artwork files for our skylines and another nice effects. You can download plenty of files on the internet, plenty of artwork files that looks amazingly good. Just look in Google and you can find a lot of different filters. So I'll go to Genesis again, click Properties, go to Advanced Options and select Effect. And now you see that my mess automatically go to artwork folder, because this is the folder that is default for all the systems, for all the system effects. So I can choose whatever I like. So let's say I want to have a 50% skylines, which means that a little bit blurry skylines. So okay, I click OK and then I run the game.
Excellent.
And you see my game now have this nice sleek looking skylines. It's subtle. I don't know how well is seen on the video, but it's very subtle and it's very nice and got this kind of retro CRT feeling, and it's look way more better than the default blurry and default just without any filters. Okay, now when I'm in the game, I want to set up my keys. I want to say something about the key bindings. It's absolutely essential to set the keys for every system separately. Do not, I repeat, do not set global key bindings for every system, because you will have a lot of trouble understanding what is going on, because every system have a different structures of controlling. For example, Nintendo Entertainment System have only two buttons and select and start button. Sega Mega Drive have 6 or 3 buttons and start button and mode button. So you need to absolutely must set up for every game separately. So click tab button on your keyboard and input this machine. This means that you will change the key bindings for this machine particularly. For example, Sega Genesis. You do not change the keyboards and key bindings for Robocop games. You change for Sega Genesis games and for all other games, not just for Robocop. It's not just for a single game, it's for the whole system. You got that? So you go here and I will change the buttons now. I will leave that enter, up, down, left, right, A, B, C. I will clean this button here because I don't need them for second player for now. But what if I want to have a 6-button joypad emulated? It's not a problem. Just go here, machine configuration, and select 6 buttons. Okay. Now you go again, input this machine, and you see the buttons is now restarted. So you need to do it again. Enter, up, down, left, right, A, B, C, and clean this with enter and escape button. Okay, so you now are able to play the game with enter is start. Okay, the game run perfectly fine for me. Okay, so basically our mess is set up now and it's ready to play a lot of games. I can't remember what more I want to say about the MESS, but this is basically all the things that you need to know to play your games. If you have any problems, please watch the video, and most importantly the game system setups and different system setups and how to load games, and you will have no problem with this. Okay, thanks for watching. Sorry for my bad English. I hope to see you soon, and my next video will probably focus on DOSBox, because DOSBox is actually a much more complicated than MESS. So thanks for watching again, and see you soon.